Yo, people, how's it going? Welcome back to another video on the channel. It's been a few days. To be honest with you, I've been playing nothing but Terraria, FIFA, and eFootball in that order. So I've been running out of ideas for the channel. Um, and I just literally just thought of this on the spot. I found this Reddit page that gave me a tier list, that you're seeing on the screen right now, for every single Terraria boss and mini boss included in some events. And I thought I might as well give you my tier list. So as you can see on the screen, you've got S, A, B, C, F, and Golem tier. Golem being absolutely terrible because everyone knows Golem is the easiest boss, if not one of the easiest, if not the easiest boss in the game. Um, so it's got its own tier, I guess. But without further ado, let's just get into it. So the first one here, Betsy, um, kind of mid to be honest. I mean, I don't really fight the old ones on me that much. I did it in the Zenith episode of my expert mode playthrough just to see how it would fare. But I think just as it is, I'm not a big fan of the old ones army event nowadays, because you don't really get that many good rewards. I mean, you get the flying dragon, weapon. I think it's called the flying dragon, stuff like that. You get Betsy's weapon and Betsy's wrath. That's pretty good. But personally, I'm putting it in the C tier. The old ones army is a very optional event. I mean, I'm doing it for the achievement purpose, but you don't really have to fight it. Otherwise, you can just skip through it and get through to Moonlord with ease. So there's that. Moving on to the Brain of Cthulhu. Literally, as I'm recording this, I'm playing a normal mode playthrough to get all the achievements on the world, and I've managed to get Crimson. So I haven't really fought the Brain in a while, but personally, back in the day when I first played this game, it was one of my favorite bosses, better than the Year of Worlds. But I think since Expert Mode and Master Mode came out, kind of favorited towards the Worm Scarf. But I've heard the Brain of Confusion is actually really good. But for me personally, just based on nostalgia, I'm putting it in A tier just because I really like the concept of the fight. The creeper stage used to just irritate me, but I like the idea of it like multiplying like the cultist does in a way. So it goes into four and chases you down slowly, like it's trying to consume you, and I think that's really cool. So there's that. Then we have the Dark Mage, just going into Golem straight away.
Oh, blimey!
As in the old one's army event, there's just no point. So can't really say much about it. I'm just going to leave it on that. Then we go on to Duke Fishron. Personally, I'm biased towards this guy. I love this boss. My favorite boss in the game, hands down. I'm giving it an S tier, not just for my own benefit, I guess, but the drops you get from the fight. Not to mention the the fish run rings, not the flare on rings. What am I talking about? Duke fish run rings. Then you get the flare on, the Razor Blade Typhoon, Sharknado, the Bubble Gun. You get so many good options that the Razor Blade Typhoon carried me to Moonlord and still held its DPS. So I think for that, and the Shrimp Patrol from out in Expert Master Mode, I think it's just a really good boss. Putting it into S tier. Same with the Eater of Worlds for me. I was thinking about putting it in A tier, but the Worm Scarf is probably one of the most clutch accessories in the game. I'm trying not to dip into Expert and Master Mode too often because I'm trying to base this just purely on like a new player's perspective. Like if I played this whole game on normal mode for the first time, who would I have loved to fight? Who did I hate fighting? All that stuff. But you can't argue with the Worm Scarf. Plus, it's a really easy boss. It's a really cheesable boss. You just put a platform across the bottom of the corruption, get a bow and jest arrows, and just run in a straight line, and you'll kill all of it. Or in my case, get a vile thorn and a slime saddle, just bounce on it non-stop, and do the damage that you need. But if it wasn't A tier, it was S tier, and it's S tier for me, just because I prefer the corruption more than the crimson. But that falls down to expert mode and master mode because I play those quite often. So there's that. And personally, same goes to the Empress of Light. I just really love the fight. Same with Duke Fishron. She's my second favorite boss, hands down. It's very close contender to first place with Fishron, I won't lie, but she is amazing. I love her fight. I love her attack dynamic and whatnot. And plus, the Stellar Tune, in my opinion, is one of the best looking mage weapons in the game. Not to mention the prismatic die and the rainbow cursor that she can give you. It's amazing, honestly. However, what isn't amazing is the Razor Pine. I don't know if the actual boss is called the Razor Pine, but the Christmas tree mini boss thing that drops the Razor Pine. The Razor Pine's a really good weapon, but fighting this guy in expert mode killed me in my Let's Play. I'm not gonna let that deteriorate my view on it too much. Personally, I'm putting it in C. It's just there. It just exists. You either hate it or love it. Same with Betsy. I personally can still skip the Frost Moon. I only skip. I only didn't skip it because on expert mode, expert mode's just different. You need more DPS, but on normal mode, you can easily skip it and just play for the game normally. So there's that. I have Cthulhu going into Golem tier. It's just easy. I mean, no matter what difficulty you play on, it's your first boss. If not, well, it's your first boss if it's not King Slime. Um, so it's just very easily beatable. And I've also just realised that Deer Clubs is not on here, so I'm guessing this is a 1.3 base, no, 1.4 base thing, but Deer Clubs is not on here. I don't think. I don't know, but I'll share my views on Deer Clubs anyway. And then the Flying Dutchman again is just Golem tier. It just exists. Same with Golem as well. Put them both in there for good measure. The Flying Dutchman, the only thing that was good about it was the pirate ship man, but I believe that got a massive nerf. So there's no point using that anymore. Otherwise, it was the best mount in the game next to the Shrimpy Truffle and the Witch's Broom. And other than that, it's just an inconvenience really. The pirates they're just annoying. I hate them. And no matter what difficulty you're on, they're just scam artists. They just find a way to kill you non-stop. It's actual pain. So there's that. The Ice Queen is going to be a bit of a controversial one. I actually going to put it in C tier. I say it's controversial because I was going to put it in Golem tier for myself, but I'm just a big fan of the Christmas event, even though I don't fight the Christmas event that much. But back in the day when I don't know how old I would have been, but like 2013, 14 when I started playing this game, fighting the Frost Moon and the Pumpkin Moon was one of the best things to do, especially when the Christmas event was on. Oh my god, it was amazing. But I don't know, I'm putting it in C tier. You can call me out on it or whatnot, but it's there, you know. I mean, Golem is gonna have another friend in King Slime. It's probably gonna be your first boss. If you don't fight the Cthulhu before Slime starts raining, you're gonna fight King Slime, and then Bob's your uncle, really. It's an easy fight. Expert and Master mode, you may struggle a little bit just because of the spike slimes that just shoot at you constantly. But once you get over that, it's just a walk in the park. That and you get a pretty cool ninja set, but I don't think it's worth it. To be fair. Then the cultist, personally, it's gonna be the first F tier for me. Now it is a key boss, and it is quite a challenge if you don't know what you're doing. But I've fought the guys so often, and I've realized that it's just similar to the Brain of Cthulhu sometimes, where it will just send minions and then duplicate itself, and then if you get it wrong, you'll get punished for it. I don't know. I think they could have done more with the cultist because it just going from golem to the cultist. There's not really much of a big damage boost or difference. Like you just have like everyone says golem is weak. I think the cultist is weak as well. You can kill the golem and cultist in the same fight if you have to. It's just that easy, you know. It is what it is. But yeah, moving on to the Martian Madness event. I believe this is the Flying Saucer that I'm going to pick up here. I'm going to actually put it in C tier. I would have put it in Golem tier, but since its changes in Expert and Master mode, where it can now phase through blocks, it's no longer as easy to cheese. And personally, it's key to getting the Zenith, obviously, for the Influx Waiver, and it's really good to get the Cosmic Card Key, which was at one point my personal go-to mount in the game. It's just a flying UFO. Who doesn't want to fly around in space? You know what I'm saying? I personally would. I'd love it, and that's why it's in C tier. Then moving on to the twins. I don't like the twins. I hate them personally. Mainly comes from expert mode, but I will admit it's a really good fight. It's not as good as I wanted it to be when I first played. It was stressful, but it gets a solid B tier for me. It gets a solid mark. It's a good fight. Using the unicorn mount and mini shark combo is really good, but I haven't played ranges in ages, if not ever, properly. So I don't know how people can fight this, but I like the fight leading out of the first phase. The first phase is fine. It's the second phase that just halts it for me because the Cursed Flames is such an annoying debuff, as everyone knows, and Retinaser just won't stop shooting at you. So that's why it's in B. And then moving on to the final boss of the game, really, the Moon Lord. I'm gonna be honest, guys. It's getting an S from me. I hate this guy sometimes. Sometimes he can just do my head in, like every boss in this list can. But he not only does he give you access to the best armor in the game once you've killed him, I think it gets an S for me because it's so satisfying to do. Like you've worked all your way to the end of the game, and you're using your last potions and your last weapons, and you got all your damage boosts on, you got all your buffs, you've got all your reforges. To see him like blow up in front of you when you kill him, it's like a big accomplishment. Like you've cured the whole world, you beat the whole game, and let's be real, the Meowmere is one of the greatest, if not the best weapon you can get besides Zenith. Like, imagine killing a squid-looking tentacle monster to get a sword that shoots out cats. You can't ride it up. And personally, I think it's just a really good way to end a Terraria playthrough. Just that satisfaction, it gets a solid S from me. You go into the Morning Wood, gets a golem. I don't even need to speak about this. It's just a big tree. It's pretty much the same as the Christmas tree, except it's just darker and has pumpkin themed stuff. I don't know how to explain it, but it's what it is. Then moving on to the Nebula Pillar. Now, because I'm a mage merchant and I only play mage, it's going in A. Or it would have, but it's actually going to go in C for me. Now, based on the Nebula Blaze, it would have been in A, but I think the Nebula Pillar for me is one of the ones that I struggle with the most, mainly because of the brain suckers. Don't know how you're meant to avoid them. I just can't do it. It's painful, but I stick by it and keep going. Well, I personally, I think it's just because it challenges me more as a player rather than just everyone else. I put it in C tier, but it's worth it. Obviously, it's key to get into Moonlord, and the Nebula Blaze and even the Orion's hand thing. I forget what it's called. Like the big thing that shoots out like black holes almost. That's really good as well. And it gives you the Nebula armor set, which is one of the coolest looking armor sets in the game. Tell me otherwise. Then moving on to the Ogre, Golem tier. It's just another filler boss. Same with the Dark Mage. They're both just there to exist, really. So I'm gonna leave that at that. Plantera is gonna get A for me because the fight is really fun. I really like the fight. The drop's pretty cool as well. You get stuff like the axe and the Seedler, which is again for the Zenith. The Spore Sack as well in Expert and Master mode is really good if you know how to use it properly. However, I think it's just the preparation of getting into the fight that kind of narrows it down for me, because if you don't plan to make a Plantera Arena pre-hard mode for the fight in hard mode, you're finished. Because trying to make a Plantera Arena in hard mode is death after death after death after death. You get turtles and mimics and bats and moss hornets and man-eaters and angry trappers, whatever you can name, coming after you. But again, it's a good challenge going into Golem, because Golem is like okay, you can take a step back and just go straight through it, breeze it, then just farm, kill the cultist, farm, pillars, Moonlord, boom, beat the game, rinse and repeat. But it's a good fight. I really like the fight. Back in the day, I loved the fight as well when the Terrorblade wasn't nerfed. However, it has been buffed, I believe, so we take those. Then the Pumpkin is honestly gonna get a C for me. It's the same with the Ice Queen. I really like the events. It's a pretty cool idea as well. And the Horseman's Blade is one of the, obviously, the key components for the Zenith. But even on its own, the Horseman's Blade held quite a bit of damage from what I recall. So I think it's pretty cool. And I like the Pumpkin event personally. So you can disagree, you can agree. I really like it. And that's how it's going to go, in my opinion. Queen Bee is a hard one. I'll put it in Golem tier. Now, I always fight Queen Bee to get the Bee's Knees or the Beekeeper for Wall of Flesh. I think that's the meta. Everyone does it. The Hive Pack in Expert and Mage. I keep saying Expert and Master is really good for dealing with the Hungries and the Leeches and stuff, because you get bees that will just home in on the attacks and whatnot. I just think Queen Bee is just, like, in normal mode specifically, it's a really easy boss. It's on the same level as Cthulhu. It's got similar attacks. The only thing that will throw you off is the stingers, like when it just shoots stingers at you that poison you. But if you have a grappling hook or some sort of Hermes boots and some game sense, you can pretty much no hit this boss. I've done it before. It's not that bad. Expert Master is a different story, but even then, once you get the pattern down, Queen Bee is one of the best fights for pre-hard mode. And then Queen Slime, I'm gonna put it in B. I really like the idea of the Queen Slime fight. It's like King Slime, but it's just revamped. Because compared to the King Slime, Queen Slime looks amazing. The King Slime looks obsolete. I mean, he is the first boss of the game, but even when he got reworked in Expert and Master mode, I struggled a lot with Queen Slime. But when I killed her, even when I killed her at the stage of the game I beat her at, it was so satisfying. I'm gonna say the same thing for the Santa NK1. I'm gonna move it down to C tier, but it's the same idea. Once you see it, you're like, what the hell? But then when you kill it, it doesn't drop anything for me specifically that I would use, but I think it drops a rocket launcher or some sort of gun. I don't remember because I don't really fight the Frostmoon that much, but I've heard that it's pretty good damage output, and it's Santa on a fucking tank. What do you want me to say? Imagine like being a 5-year-old kid saying, "Oh, Santa, can you come see me? Give me my presents." And he rolls up in a tank with a Christmas tree behind him that shoots razor pine. That's amazing. And going on to Skeletron, I literally just fought him off camera in my normal mode playthrough, and he's getting a golem tier. I fought him before fighting the Brain of Cthulhu and the Eye of Cthulhu. All I need to do was get one weapon, aka a yo-yo of some sort. I bought a code 1 from my traveling merchants. That's how I did that. Expert Master mode, it's the same thing. You can get through it pretty easily. Just get Hermes boots, 3 or 4 layers of platforms, and just circle him. That's all you've got to do. Take out the hands first, or just debuff him with some sort of poison flask or something. I don't know how those work in this game. I'm trying to figure that out right now. Just do that. Easy fight. And it goes straight into the dungeon. You can get the Mirror Master, the Cobalt Shield, Shadow Keys, go down to Hell, and you can get to all flesh. So, I think it's pretty cool. Then going on to its cousin, or its older brother, if you will, Skeletron Prime, it's going to get a B tier for me. I personally prefer Skeletron Prime out of the 3 mechs, just because it's one of the easier ones. But even then, it's just Skeletron revamped. But I just like the idea of it, like killing each of the segments first and then getting to the head. It's pretty cool, to be fair. I just like the look of Skeletron Prime. So that's where that falls in. Then the Solar Pillar is going to get... This is a hard one, but I'm going to put it in A. It's really hard on Expert and Master mode, at least to me. As you know from my Expert mode Mage playthrough, I died at least 25 times trying to kill this pillar at least once. But you get access to the Daybreak, the Solar Eruption. If you're a melee set player, you get a bulky armor set. You get the ability to Shield of Cthulhu dash every minute, I think it is, which is really good even in normal mode. I'm excited to use it when I finish my world in melee, on normal mode as I speak. And it's just satisfying. It will annoy you. I think it's the most stressful pillar out of the 4. It's the worst one for me. I just can't do it normally. I have to somehow cheese it, but it's so satisfying to do it. And that's why it's getting an A tier for me personally. Starless Pillar is going to fall in the same category as the Nebula Pillar. See, it's easy. Just, you can manipulate it a lot. Just get the star cells, let them grow. Like, how do I explain it? Kill the big star cell, but don't kill it so the little ones die too. Wait for the little ones to grow back, rinse and repeat, and you'll get through it pretty easily. It's easy cheese. And the same with the Destroyer. That's why I'm putting it in Golem tier. All you need to do is get one efficient DPS weapon and a Nimbus Rod. Build up into the sky and make a little box, like I'll show you on the screen right now. Make a little box like that and just sit there. As you can see from the footage, the Nimbus Rod just falls down, does the damage, and you can just hit it with whatever. It's really easy. Plus, it's just a glorified Eater of Worlds. It's like an Eater of Worlds from normal mode, but with the ability of Expert mode and Master mode, where it just shoots little projectiles at you in the probes. But the probes are really easy to avoid. Like, if you're in the cheese box, they won't get you. half the time. And by the time they do, you've already out damaged them, so there's no point. And then the vortex pillar, it's a bit annoying, but in my opinion, it's one of the easier ones. I was going to F tier. The vortex blaster, last time I used it was in 1.3, where it was glitched in Xbox, where you could shoot it and then swap to your weapon of choice and just duplicate it. So the way to do it was you get your D-pad on the controller, set your vortex blaster to the down D-pad button, and then get a weapon like a Starless Dragon or a Razorblade Typhoon or something. Put it on your up D-pad. You shoot with the vortex blaster and then just press up on your D-pad straight away, and it will infinitely shoot the gun without using any bullets, and it will duplicate your said item. So say you have a Starless Dragon, you could actually make like 50,000 Starless Dragons follow you. Breaks the game, but it was fun. Haven't used it in a while, but a lot of people use it and it's really good. And the Vortex armor has some pretty cool abilities, so it's going into F just because it's easier for me. It's just easy to deal with. And then moving on to the last boss of the game, or at least the last boss of this tier list, is the final pre-hard mode boss, the Wall of Flesh. It's gonna go and hold a respectable B tier for me. Would have been S, but I fought the Wall of Flesh so many times that it's easy to say, okay, let's make at least 1,000 block ash platform left to right of hell from where your elevator is. Get a water bolt, a beekeeper or a bee's knees. Just shoot, deal with the hungries, and then use something like a Star Fury to deal with the actual wall. It's the same cycle. I mean, I've been playing Terraria for 10 years plus, so I know like the ins and outs of it. Really, I know what the game's about. So I know that Wall of Flesh is just one. It's one of the easier bosses. On Expert and Master mode, that's a different story, and I'm yet to tackle it on Fuller Worthy or the Zenith Seed, or the Get Fixed Boy, if you want to call it that. So I don't know how bad it is on there, but from what I've played over the years, it's the best and easiest way to get into hard mode, where the real challenge begins, and you'll die at least 67 times like I did. But what do you think of my tier list? I think it's actually pretty fair, but obviously you're entitled to your own opinions. Leave a comment down below if you did A, enjoy this video, and B, agree or disagree with my tier list. You're welcome to use your own tier list. I'll leave a link to this link that I found in the description, so you can make your own tier list and then send it to me, or just send it to your friends. And with that, thank you for watching another Terraria themed video. Blast to make, obviously. It's just a impulsive thing to make, but hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I've been Kyle.net, so have a great rest of your day. And yeah, I'll see you later. Peace out.